Does any... Good morning, lad.
I heard you could use a helping hand at the forge.
I could. My last two hands, well, they're not worth mentioning. And what with the wedding coming up, the work is piling up. What do they call you?
Henry.
I'm Radovan. You should know, Henry. The blacksmithing isn't for everyone. Have you done it before?
Yeah. I basically grew up in the forge. My father was a swordsmith, and not just any. He even forged swords for the nobility.
For the nobility, eh? Well, that kind of experience will come in very handy for me indeed. As it happens, I have to forge a wedding present for young Lord Semine. A fine sword.
So you'll take me on?
Hold your horses. I'll have to try you out first. You could forge me a hunting sword as a test, so I can see if you can make a straight blade. That shouldn't give you much trouble if your father was a swordsmith, should it?
Sure thing. I can get started right away.
Great. Find some iron and get started then.
Iron?
You can't make a sword out of butter, but if you don't have your own stuff, you can get everything from the chest in my forge. Go over to the anvil and let's get started. Furnace is cold now. Give it a practice try. Some things, like swords, are too long to fit in the fire. You have to heat it up. Try poking it around for a bit. Now get the furnace nice and hot. There's a lever above you. Give it a pull. It works the bellows. But you won't be able to tell when it's in the fire. You have to take it out from time to time and take a look. Try it out. See? It's the color of straw, which is what you want. And you heated the whole thing up. Nicely done. Now you can go straight to the anvil. Try moving the sword along the anvil so you can get the hang of it. Now take the hammer and try hitting it a few times. See the sparks? That's the sign of a good strike. The more sparks, the better. Also, you can hammer with different degrees of power. A stronger hit will do more, but it'll tire you out faster. Try giving it a few blows. As hard as you can, so I can see how strong you are. That's got a nice ring to it. Of course, if it was all about hitting an anvil with a hammer, any dolt could do it. You've got to hammer the workpiece evenly. One hit next to the other. Oh, Jesus, it has to be even! Very nice. You're doing just fine. But when I say evenly, I mean it. A sword has two sides, like a lot of other things, including myself. Turn it over and continue on the other side. Nice. Now try forging it on both sides. The closer it is to being finished, the more it will take on the shape you want. It'll cool off soon anyway. It's cooled now. You can't do it all in one go. You've got to put it back in the furnace from time to time. Sometimes you've got to go there and back all day. But it's all part of the craft. Now, get back to the forge and heat it all up again, like before. I'd like to get some other things done today. The whole thing is heated up now, so come over to the anvil. Well struck. The sparks are flying nicely.
At least you know when to round up the cattle and gather in the hay. Three cripples, all right.
Sparks. That's the stuff. See how it's taking on the right shape? That's how you can tell it's almost finished. Now, I've got a piece of advice for you. Hammer to a rhythm. When I hammer a piece to a beat, the work goes by easier. Sometimes I'll whistle to myself to keep the rhythm going. There you go. You've got it finished. All that's left is to temper it, and the sword will be done. The rest is just tweaking. Right, let's have a look. Well, I won't lie to you. That's pretty botched up.
It's been quite a while since I've stood at a forge.
I can tell, but at least you make an effort. Better than the two numbskulls I had before. I might as well give you a try. But next time, keep in mind, it's all about making sure every strike does its job. That's why you can't let it get cold, or keep striking the same spot. If you work evenly, each strike falling right next to the last one, you can't go wrong. Got that? Or is there something else you want to ask about?
Thanks. That's all I need to know.
You can sleep in the chamber by the woodshed. And there's a chest where you can keep your things. And of course, you can use the forge anytime you want. Any questions?
What now?
What do you think? You're not going to be idle. I'll find you some work to do right away. You're pretty good at swords, but what the locals really need is axes and horseshoes. Right, here are some simple drawings that show what they're both supposed to look like. And some iron. You can get down to it right away.
Just like that? You aren't going to help me?
Sacre, lad. I chose you because you already know a thing or two. I'm not going to look over your shoulder all bloody day. You take care of these smaller jobs. Forge away as long as you're able, and then sell it all. Once you've made some coin and feel like being out in the open again, I'll give you some more interesting work.
Almost done.
How can I help you today, friend? It's about those two idiot hands of mine, Venser and Franzi. They drove off with a cart full of goods towards Semine, and they never came back.
Do you want me to find them?
Just so. But more importantly, I want to know where my cart ended up, and especially the cargo. Go to Samin and find out what the bloody hell happened.
Have you any idea which way they might have gone? I could have a look along the way. Maybe their cart broke down or something.
There's only one road to Samin that can take a cart. It leads from Takov to Troskovitz, and then to the south. But I've got a bad feeling they got up to no good in Samin.
Those two hands of yours, Ventsa and Franzi, what can you tell me about them?
Can't tell you much. They're wandering laborers. I don't think they wanted to stay here with me for long, but these days I can use all the help I can get.
Were they suspicious in any way?
No, they worked hard. They ain't no slackers. And I can't say that about everyone.
What was the cart carrying?
Bugger and bollocks. All sorts of stuff. I'd say Lord Samin wants to rearm his garrison with new equipment. There were some hunting swords, bastard swords, crossbow bolts. I also fixed the trigger on young Samin's crossbow. And some kitchen stuff. Sacks of charcoal, all sorts of things. There's a good month's work in that cartload.
All right, I'll get right on it then.
Go ahead. And if you find that pair of fools drunk, kick their asses for me.
Gladly. I'll kick some sobriety into them. What do you have for sale?
Why are you wasting my time if you don't want anything then, eh?
Don't cause any trouble, does it?
So I says to him, "No, father, I haven't been fornicating. I've just been loving my neighbour."
Hey! You alright there, laddie?
Oh, you should have seen him. He went as red as a cardinal's hat. Aye. Hey, servant, bring some wine.
Me? I'm not a servant.
Oh, I know. Old Samin is saving supplies for the wedding later. But you didn't need to bother your wee head about that.
Look, I'm not from here.
Oh. I didn't give a fuck what you frae. You speak our language, do you not?
Well, Yarko, seems to me this fella doesn't know how to behave toward his betters.
The old man's hired hands are lacking in manners. We'll soon fix that. I'll kill you. I'll beat you to a bloody pulp, fucker! Fucking hell! Come on, oh, you wee
What in
bastard!
the devil's name is fucking going on here?
What do you think's going on, Grandad? I'm teaching your people here how we do things.
Grandad?
Why, Grandad? An old captain like you probably still remember the flood.
True enough, Yurko. I am old. And I remember all sorts of things. Like you. When you were a little nipper running around here bare arse, with a ribbon in your hair, screaming out how you was Princess Sophie. Poor lad, hadn't a moment's peace from his big sisters.
about that way.
Who in God's name are you?
Henry. The Takeoff blacksmith sent me. Radovan.
Blacksmith, eh? Then you'll have some explaining to do. Come along and never mind that fool Yurko. Young Samin's getting married, so we has to put up with his kin from Moravia.
We'll be needing a dozen geese. And I must tell Vashek to get 3 pigs ready for slaughter. And the carters will have to be sent to Yetchin to get at least a peck of poppy seed for cakes. And gingerbread spices. Oh, and wine, too. It's almost all gone, what we bought only last week.
Enter!
Sorry to intrude, sir. This is Henry, blacksmith Radovan's hand.
Oh, excellent. Dorothy, leave us now. Just make sure that there's plenty of everything so long as it doesn't cost too much.
But, sir...
Not another word! Leave us! So Radovan sent you alone. Who's going to unload it all? It's a whole cartload.
Yeah, Radovan sent me, sir, but not with the goods. The thing is, he's missing his cart, along with the carter in his hands.
What? But they never came here. Are you telling me they got lost?
Well, I couldn't tell you what happened to them, sir, but it's my job to find them.
There are all sorts of vermin roaming the countryside.
Oh, no
sir.
need to imagine the worst right off, gnarly. Anyway, I need the load from that cart, so saddle up your old nag and we'll ride out, Captain. I could do with a breath of fresh air. I've had it up to the eyeballs with counting geese and pies.
What about Henry here, sir?
Well, what about him?
We could use an extra pair of hands. You know how my shoulder's acting up. Yurko is shit-faced, and your son...
The older has work to do. All right, take Henry with you if you want. Just so long as he doesn't slow us down.
Thank you, sir. So, lad, you going with us? I hope you're happy about it.
Yeah. I'll be glad to help you.
Oh, you reckon we can't manage on our own?
No. That's not how I meant it.
Take it easy, son. I'm only yanking your pizzle. By the way, the fellas at the gate say you came here on foot.
Yeah, I did.
Christ above! And how are you going to ride with us? On the back of my saddle? You're a bit big for that, ain't ya? And I'm a bit too old.
I figured I'd just run along behind you.
You could, but even with them young legs of yours, you'd hold us back. You're in need of a horse.
Those don't come cheap.
True. But your luck's in, lad. Our groom brought in a grey nag not long ago. Tell him you've got to ride out with us, and he'll give it to you for a decent price.
All right. Thanks.
Well, that should be that. Unless you've got any more questions.
Actually, there is something I'd like to ask about. I'd like to go and see that wedding.
Wouldn't we all, lad? And what would you do there?
I'd eat and drink my fill and check out the local maidens.
I hope Lord Samin didn't hear you. He'd be none too pleased to hear you want to take part in such a grand affair, just to stuff your face and roll an A with some drunken wench.
I beg your pardon, Captain, but that's what most fellas go to weddings for.
That's an unspoken truth, son. Unspoken, mind. Anyways, you're Radovan's hand, ain't ya? He'll be coming to the wedding. He's making a wedding gift to the groom. Stick with him, and maybe he'll take you with him.
This Yurko and his mates, who are they?
They're Lord Samin's kin. They're fine as long as they don't get too much booze inside them.
Only they're from Moravia, so they're never far from the booze.
But what could I tell you, lad? Each to himself. Besides, They stick with the family when push comes to shove. And you can't say that about everyone.
And you, sir? What is it you do?
Well, son, I wonder if I haven't made a mistake about you. If you haven't figured me out by now, you can't be very bright.
No, I just meant, what exactly is it you do for Lord Seming? And your name isn't exactly very common.
I'm the captain here, and I'm sure I don't have to tell you what a captain does. As for my name, it's a nickname Lord Seming's grandpa gave me. May he rest in peace. When I joined his service as a young fella, I took my gnarly club with me. Wouldn't use anything else. I was used to it. And more than once helped me to, well, win an argument. I broke many a hard skull with it. And it's still in one piece. We've been together so long, we even share the same name.
You're lucky you didn't turn out to be Captain Knob.
Or Captain Headcracker. You're right.
We should probably get going.
That we should. But it's getting pretty late. We need daylight for a search like that. Come back in the morning and we'll set out. If you want, stay here. You'll get a bit of grub in the kitchen and you can sleep in the barn.
I'm ready to set out, sir.
All right. Stay close to us and don't go wandering off.
As you say, sir.
Where will we start searching, sir?
If they drove out of Tarkov and headed towards us, they had to pass through Troskovitz.
Right, sir. You keep up with us, son. Troskovitz ain't far, but it seems there's fellas vanishing on the way.
Very good, Captain.
What do you think about it, Captain?
I know you told me not to jump to any conclusions, sir, but I can't help myself. Someone's running rampant around here, sir.
I know who's running rampant. Yurko in the cellar. We're out of wine again. I knew this wedding wouldn't be cheap, but I'm bleeding like a stuck pig. And the bailiff, the bride's father, you'd get more blood out of a stone than coin out of him. And then he behaves like I shit golden eggs just because I'm a noble. Even though he's got more coin than me.
Such are the times, sir. But that Yurko, he's going too far.
You know how those Moravians are. It's in his blood.
Aye, I noticed. But they're getting too much to handle. Him and his cronies. They started on young Henry, soon as he set foot on the courtyard.
What? Is that true, Henry?
It was nothing. Just a bit of a friendly brawl. They clearly had a skinful. I can understand it.
Well, I've sure as hell got no understanding for it. I hope they didn't hurt you.
Young Henry here gave Yurko a nice hammering.
Oh, that's no surprise. The fella can hardly stand upright most of the time.
You'd have to get up early to catch them sober. But they wasn't that drunk as to give Henry an easy fight.
Look here, lad. If you're such a champion, I'm sure you'd accept the challenge of an old man like myself.
It would be an honor, sir.
Excellent. Not afraid, eh? That's what I like to see. There's an abandoned pen along the path a bit. We'll stop off there and see what you're made of.
All right, sir. If you'll excuse me, I'll explain some things to the youngster here first. Wouldn't want no accidents happening.
So, we're here. Gnarly, tell the youngster here what's what.
All right, son. You're going to fight Lord Sameen. It'll be an honorable fight, so you better act accordingly. Hold on a mo. I'll give you some gear for it.
What weapon will you give me?
What would you like?
Sword?
Don't get ahead of yourself, laddie. A sword belongs in noble hands. You can have my cudgel. It might be just a stick, but it's my stick, so careful with it.
Thank you, Captain.
Save the thanks, and get your arse into the pen.
So, young'un, are you ready?
All right. Let's do it.
What do you say, son?
You really gave me the runaround.
I'm no spring chicken, but I'm as spry as ever.
That's true. And you handled this too, sir. Anyways, you can keep that old junk, Henry. Even my cudgel. But take care of the old fella. He might be just a piece of wood, but he's saved my arse more than once.
I will, Captain.
I needed that. It's good to stretch the limbs every now and again. Don't worry about losing, lad. You've got some talent, I can tell. You should come to the courtyard, and Gnarly here will give you a good education in the art of the sword.
I call it the art of not getting skewered as soon as you step foot outside the village. But do come, Henry. We've got a nice arena in Sameen. It ain't no abandoned pig pen.
You can't always choose your battleground, Gnarly. Whether it's a pig pen or an arena in Karlstein, it's the performance that counts. And while we're on the subject, where are you from, lad? It's clear you're not from Trotsky. A silent stranger. Well, well.
So, we're in Troskowitz. What now, sir? Should I go to the bailiff and ask if he might have seen someone?
Well, that makes sense. But the young fella here should do it. If the bailiff sees you, he'll guess I'm in the village and come and bother me. And I'm really not in the mood today for any bombardment of complaints.
I understand, sir. All right, Henry. Run along to the rat house and inquire about that wagon.
And Henry, not a word about me. Are we clear?
About who? Since you're not here, how could I speak of you?
That's what I like to hear. Now run along.
Master Bailiff, can I ask you about something?
Ask away, by all means. Wait now, aren't you that lad who's helping Radovan in the forge?
Yeah, that's me.
I heard his hired hands went missing.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm here.
Ah, I was thinking they were driving awful fast with that cart.
You saw them?
I did, a few days back. They raced through the village in the early evening so fast, they were dropping sacks of charcoal.
Where were they headed?
Towards the east, to Apollonia on the road to Yichin. And you're looking for them?
I am indeed.
I'm glad to hear it. I heard there were goods for Semine on that cart, and I can do without that kind of trouble now, on account of the wedding, you know?
It seems you have a lot of concerns with that wedding, Master Bailiff.
Of course I do. I'm the father of the bride, after all. Although not everyone sees eye to eye with me. Lord Semine would be happier if I paid all the bills and left all the decisions up to him. Who's invited, what there'll be to eat and drink, entertainment, everything. It's not like I have a burning desire to deal with it, but if I'm going to pay for it...
I understand. But isn't it just that the groom's family is more concerned about these things?
That's not it. I'll tell you what it is. It's because Lord Semine is a noble and I'm just a commoner. Only I've got coin. While he's trying to keep the wolf from the door in that piddling estate of his.
You ought to calm down, Master Bailiff. That kind of talk can stir things up.
You're right, of course. It just makes me mad, though.
I understand. Do you know anything about Radovan's hired hands?
Only what I've told you. But to tell you the truth, I wouldn't mind if they never turned up again.
Why's that?
Well, they might look like butter wouldn't melt in their mouths, and Radovan praises them, but I know people. That pair have mischief in their eyes. I can tell.
That'll be all. Thanks.
Well then, young man, how did it go?
They were spotted here, sir. Going to the east, towards Apollonia.
So to Yichin? The bastards! And what about my goods?
Oh, they were driving so fast, it was falling off the cart.
The thieving scum! Let's hurry! To Yichin!
Sir, I can send a message to the Itchin captain of the guard.
Oh, it'll take too long. We'll go and get them ourselves.
Won't you be missing preparations for the wedding at home, sir?
I will. Praise the Lord Jesus Christ. If I have to choose between riding to Yichin and listening to Dorothy's endless fussing, I'll take Yichin any time. Besides, there's a nice inn along the way, the Three Cats. We can spend the night there.
I remember that place. But I'm not sure, sir, if they'll let the two of us set foot inside the door.
Oh, gnarly, that was 15 summers ago. God knows if the place is even still standing.
True. Still, we'd better keep our eyes peeled. They might not have gone to Yichin. They could have turned off somewhere. Or something could have happened. They might have been ambushed, maybe.
Will you give over with that? I'll bet my braves they weren't ambushed. More likely we'll find them boozing at the Three Cats.
That'd surely be the best outcome, if that old dive is still standing. Let's go, then. So, St. Anthony, which way now?
while you're praying to the patron saint of lost things, go and have a look along the road, Gnarly. And you, Henry, have a look to the left.
All right, sir. But don't forget, my eyesight ain't what it used to be.
Well, that's what we have the youngster for, isn't it? Off you go.
A sack of charcoal? That could have fallen off the cart.
You found anything, lad?
There's a sack of charcoal lying in the ditch to the left of the road. The bailiff said they were driving like the devil, so maybe it fell from the cart.
Oh, that makes sense. To the left it is, then. Gnarly! Back here!
We're getting close. I can feel it in my bones, sir. You'll have the car back in no time.
I just hope we find the horses, too. Yarmilka here ain't the youngest, and I wouldn't want to drag it back home myself.
A nobleman in harness. We ain't ever had such a spectacle in these parts.
You might get to see it soon enough. The lords in this country have all gone to the dogs. Every lowborn with a bit of coin builds a house in Kuttenberg, while we live in squalor. Why do you reckon that is, lad?
That's a tough question, sir. But nothing happens on God's green earth without his will. If that's the way God wants it, there's nothing you can do.
None of this would be happening if we had a king. And I mean a real one, not Wenceslas or Sigismund. Oh, anywhere that's not ruled by a strong hand, all sorts of things go wrong.
Especially when you've got Moravian relatives eating you out of house and home.
Oh, hold up. This is strange. I don't see any cart tracks. What do you reckon, Gnarly?
I'm blind as a mole, sir. But it's all peculiar, right enough. Where the hell could that cart have vanished to?
Well, that's just it. They had nowhere to turn off.
I'll look up the road a bit. And you, Henry, have a look back along the road. Maybe it fell in a ditch somewhere. Who knows?
Very well, sir. The blacksmith's cart. And someone went to a hell of a lot of trouble to hide it from the road. Hey! I found the blacksmith's cart! Come here!
Well, now, here we have it. The blacksmith's cart.
And someone went to a lot of trouble to hide it from the road.
Of course, the goods are gone, The bastards hauled it off to the rocks. That's clear. Well, we can't let them get away with it. We'll carry on, but on foot. My old young milker would only break a leg there. And keep a sharp lookout. Something stinks here.
I told you, they got ambushed by them bastards that's on a rampage around here, sir.
Oh, be quiet. We still can't be sure of anything.
Ah, Apollonia. I spent a lot of time running around here as a young lad.
Oh, not me. This place always gave me the shivers.
God's truth, I ain't got only good memories of it. One time, got my legs stuck in a crevice a bit further on. Trapped there all night I was, shitting myself with fear. It wasn't till morning that the folk from the fortress found me. The whole of Sameen was out looking for me.
See, at least you came here as a kid. It still gives me the creeps here.
Why's that, sir? It's just some rocks, ain't it?
You'd sing a different tune if you'd had the rope maker's wife as a nanny when you were little. Now, she had some tales about this place. Headless horsemen, goblins and white ladies. Every night, we'd gather by the hearth. The old woman would sit at her spinning wheel telling stories. I'll tell you, Captain, there isn't much I'm afraid of. But when that blind old crone was croaking her tales of devils and holes to hell, with the fire crackling and the wind whistling outside the windows and the whirring of the spinning wheel. Oh. Shh. Wait a moment. Do you hear that?
I do. There's somebody there, sure enough.
Let's get closer. What do we do now? I heard more than two voices.
I used to clamber around here as a young lad. The girls from Slatigo used to come make a fire here and jump over it. And so's their underwear wouldn't catch fire. Sometimes they'd take it off.
That's nice, Gnarly, but I don't think it's scantily clad maidens we'll be running into here. So what's that got to do with anything?
Well, there's a nice view into the gorge from up there. We only have to go back a bit, and we can get up there nicely.
Right. Henry, what are you waiting for? This is just the kind of thing we took you along for.
Sure, sir. With a bit of luck, there might be some girls there, too.
I could do without girls with voices like that. Now get going.
Uncle is a drunken old fool who claims he was a priest. He can't even quote one psalm.
Don't you think he'd have a better nickname than Stumble if he was a priest?
Hey, it ain't his fault. What's wrong with his leg?
What's wrong with his legs is they can't stay away from the tavern.
You two don't know the truth from an hole in the ground. Stumble was a priest. He showed me holy pictures and taught me a lot.
Aye, Stumble was a priest. Pigs can...
You shouldn't have gone. I'll get you.
Hell with you.
What do you want? I'm going to gut you, horse son.
Never know what crosses folk have to bear.
Gee.
I'll show you. I'm all yours. Suck my cock. Useless.
Nice strike! Come on, go fuck yourself!
Hey, now you're fucked up. Once more. Another one. You got it. I'll slice you.
We're gonna gut you, you whore son!
Oh, this day took it out of me, and no mistake.
And it ain't over yet, sir. Your goods ain't here, and none of them bastards look like the blacksmith's hands. Am I right, Henry?
Hard to say. I've never actually seen them, but I don't think it was them.
Me neither. But right past that peak is another good camping spot.
You think this was a patrol?
It makes sense. But I don't want to go assuming the worst. We might have just run into them bandits by chance.
Yeah, well, you were right, as always. Let's go, then. Are you ready, Henry?
I am. Let's go.
I thought we had everything clear, then, sir. You tried to fuck with me, so until we ride out, you're gonna stick right there and keep your mouth shut.
We did everything you asked. We got the blacksmith cart and the goods.
Horse shit. You tried to fuck me. That bastard cousin of yours owned up to it.
It was his idea. I wanted nothing to do with it.
It makes no difference to me, Venser. You vouched for the crooked fucker. So now, it's on you. Actually, you could consider yourself lucky. If you hadn't saved my ass that time in Colleen, I'd have goat ear skin you alive.
Bastards. You can't trust anyone in these parts. Get ready, Gnarly. We are going to parley.
Like that time at the Shani, sir?
Yes, exactly.
Only there was more of us that time, and less of them.
Oh, don't worry, there won't be a problem. They're just common thieves. Besides, I'll take young Henry with me.
What, me?
And if they're still feeling brave, you get to try out that new plaything of yours. Ahem, gentlemen. I'm obliged to you for looking after my goods, but I'll take them back now. Just hand them over, and I'll let you go.
Oh, you must be from Samin, sir. Well, of course you can have everything back. Just as long as you ask nicely, eh? Well, how about we do things differently? You lay down your weapons, and we can all have a nice little chat. I mean, I don't intend to go murdering local lords. I just want your coin.
That's very noble of you, sir.
What are you gaping at? At them!
Come on, man!
Still can't do that.
Damn it, there's one more!
Nice hit. What's wrong?
He's done what you're made of!
Now we
Take
finish
that
this.
fucker out, damn it!
The devil.
Christ!
But
My
it's
head.
like a stunt.
Nice strike! He's had it! You'll be fucking sorry! Nice strike!
This has been going on too long. Don't kill him. This one's mine.
They got what they deserved, the fuckers! Henry! Hey, Henry! Are you listening? Come here!
I'm a nobleman. You have to spare.
What now?
One of them bastards fled into the rocks. Chase him down and bring him back.
Did you see which way he went?
No, I had other things on my hands. Besides, you're the one who's supposed to keep watch.
I'll go and track him then.
Great. Hurry.
I've got you now, Venser. You've nowhere to run to. Yield.
Well, why the fuck would I? It's just you against me. Besides, if I do yield, it's the rope for me anyway.
Who knows what they'll do to you? You might just get a whipping.
For robbing Semine, that old miser. He'll have me strung up from the nearest tree. I'd be better off jumping off the cliff.
If I were in your shoes, I think I'd go for the rope. Falling to your death can be real nasty.
How would you know? Have you tried it? Although, to come up with something that stupid, you must have fallen on your head.
Well, come what may. Anything can happen. Maybe you'll get out of it somehow.
Sure, I'll get out of it. Bollocks. And I don't have to be the one who falls off the cliff. So no, I'm not going with you.
You won't yield!
Oh, I told you. No!
All right. I was hoping for a peaceful end to it. But if that's how you want it...
You're a dead man!
You're a dead man!
I had to kill him, unfortunately. He refused to surrender.
Don't feel bad about it, lad. He'd have swung anyway. At least you gave him a quick end.
What about Gules?
He caught a few good hits, but he's alive. We'll take him with us. I need to have a strong word with him. You did a good job, youngster. You've got heart. And so you don't say I had you clambering over these rocks for nothing. Here's something for you.
Thank you, sir.
Don't thank me, you deserved it. And now, let's get that accursed cart back to Semine. Want to ride? We'll go via Troskovitz. We can drop you off there, and you won't have far to Tarkov. You ought to report back to Radovan as soon as possible about what happened with these hands.
What's going to happen to that other hand?
We'll see. He was tied up, and he swears he's innocent. Either way, Gnarly will get it out of him. I'd like to find out what actually happened.
Could you wait a while? I'd better just check that I haven't lost anything while running around here.
All right, but make it quick. I was happy to get out of Semine for a while, but now I'm looking forward to being back at my own fireside.
Is that offer of a ride still open?
Sure, if you want.
A ride would be great. My legs are sore.
Wait until you're my age. Well, let's get going.
I didn't do nothing wrong, I swear. It's all Vence's fault. It was him who said we'll sell the cart to Gules.
Shut up, Francie. You both told me you'll bring me the cart, and then you try to fuck me over.
A thief robbing a thief. What a world.
I'm still a nobleman, if you don't mind. So I'm not a thief. I'm a robber baron.
A thief's a thief.
Where are you taking us?
To Samin, where his lordship will hear you out and decide what to do with you.
I hope you realize you can't execute me just like that.
That depends. By rights, I should send a plea to the royal court to ask if we can behead you. But in these shitty times, nobody will give a toss. And parchment's expensive. So as far as I'm concerned, I'd happily take the risk and cut your head off without permission.
I can see how much you respect the rule of law here.
You're quite the joker. Invoking the law, are you?
And what will happen to me?
If you really are innocent, nothing will happen to you.
I am. It was Venser who roped me into it. I swear on my ma's soul.
Is that supposed to soften my heart? Every good-for-nothing I've dragged to the gallows swore on his ma. Nobody with any decency would risk his mother's immortal soul, even if he was pure as the driven snow. But this arsehole don't think twice about damning her. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
The captain's right. Only the lowest of the low swears on his mother.
Ain't it grand you're here to make that clear for us? And now shut it. The two of you. I don't want you poisoning the air with the shit you spout.
So, job done. The cart was found and driven to Lord Semin's courtyard.
Whew. That's a relief. And what happened to that pair of idiots?
It turned out they tried to rob you.
Oh. They did they?
Aye. They plotted with some robber baron called Gules and brought the cart to him.
The bastards. I should have realized they were a bit too keen on work. And how did you get the cart back?
Well, I went to Semin, and they were wondering there too where the wagon got to. So we rode out to look for it. Me, Lord Semin, and his captain, Gnarly.
Well, God's nails. And the three of you tracked them down? The whole band?
That's right. They were hiding in Apollonia, along with the carts and the goods.
Indeed. Where else? The bastards. And what about my hands?
Venser didn't survive the skirmish in Gules' camp. And Franzi, they took him to Semin. He might have been innocent in the whole thing.
I wouldn't be too sure about that. They were only here a while, but that pair was as thick as, well, thieves. And that Franzi could talk his way out from under the executioner's axe.
We'll see. Either way, it's Lord Semin's concern now.
Anyway, the main thing is the cart turned up. I'd be in a right mess if it didn't.
No doubt.
And you've earned a reward for your trouble. I've got just the thing for you. Some mercenary once had his cuirass repaired here, but never came back for it. Who knows what happened to him? So now it's yours. It's been through a bit, but it'll still serve for a while.
Thanks. It'll come in handy. And have you got another job for me?
Young Lord Semin's wedding is coming up, and it's got my head spinning. Look, you must have seen Agnes, the bailiff's daughter, when you were in Truskowitz. What do you think of her?
Well, young Semin is marrying her, isn't he? Why would I have my eye on her?
Don't pretend. A statue of a saint would have his eye on her. Looks ain't everything, though. She's got such a sharp tongue on her. I almost feel sorry for young Semin. And how about you, lad? Have you got some lass waiting in Sasau?
Yeah. And I hope she'll wait. Her name's Teresa. Her uncle owns a mill on the river in Ratai.
A girl from the mill? You want to watch out for them types. You might get caught up in devilry, lad. A wedding's a serious business. You're not just getting a bride, but a whole family. So you have to show them you're a man who's worth it. All the more so when you're noble-born. Old Semin wants a special sword forged for his son's wedding present.
Excellent. So what are we waiting for? Should we get to work?
Hold your horses. It can't be any old steel. This has to be a first-class job.
A blade of first-class steel?
That's right. And that's just the problem.
Ah, I see. We don't have any welded steel for that kind of sword, do we?
God's nails. You really know your stuff, youngster. And you're right. We don't have the steel for a strong sword that won't break.
I'd like to know where you're going to get your hands on some welded steel.
Relax, lad. I've got it all figured out, as it happens. There's this old hermit called Ambrose, living in Apollonia.
And he can pray for us?
God's nails, let me finish talking. The word is, he was fighting heathens years ago in faraway Andalusia. And folks say they saw this interesting broken sword in his hut. From the description, it seems our peculiar hermit has a real Toledo blade.
Welded Spanish steel? There's nothing better for a sword.
See now? You do understand. But there's a catch.
Naturally.
They say that Ambrose the Hermit has changed a lot recently. People from far and wide used to go to him for remedies and blessings. But now he won't see no one. I even heard he made a pact with the devil. And there have been other strange goings-on.
What strange goings-on?
I heard something in the tavern about some apparition. But that's all I know.
Where can I find the hermit?
Do I look like someone who goes to a hermit for advice? I know he has a hut somewhere in Apollonia. But you'll have to ask the Truscovitz womenfolk if you want to know more.
With the devil? Why would the hermit make a pact with the devil?
No idea. It might just be old wives' tales.
Right. I'll try to find out more about the hermit's sword. But in return, you'll get me invited to Semin's wedding.
If it means so much to you, why not? Come and see Betty from the Truscovitz Tavern. She knows all the gossip. She'll definitely tell you more about the hermit. But Henry, if there's any truth in that pact with the devil, don't get caught up in it. The best sword in the world isn't worth eternal damnation.